All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday night, just past the hour of 8 o'clock Eastern here on the Accelerated Facebook page. We are live from the Knoxville Raceway for Championship Night for the UMP Modified Series presented by WR1 Sim Chassis with the team VLR sanctioning body running this season so far. And we are in for a treat night. 60 laps of feature racing coming up after we go through a couple of heats and a couple of sub-features. And joining me tonight in the booth on this championship evening is the one, the only Blake McCandless. And how you doing tonight, bud?
Doing great, as always, I reckon. And it's great to see these guys come together for one last race here at the Knoxville Raceway. Dylan Wilson and Howard Weaver separated by only 7 points for the championship battle. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how these guys can run. Of course, both of these guys have won each of the last 2 events, so be interesting to see if Howard Weaver can make up some points on Dylan Wilson, or if they're both going to run up front, and it seems like it may be well in hand early on.
Yeah, well, just to go through the stat line here, Dylan Wilson, who is 7 points ahead of Weaver, 4 wins, 7 top 3 finishes, 8 top 5s, 9 top 10s out of 11 starts so far this season. Howard Weaver, 7 points back. He's got 3 wins on the season, 5 top 3s, 6 top 5s, and 9 top 10s on 11 starts this season. Out of the picture, though, Virgil Graham gonna have a good, valiant effort there. It looks like as long as he makes the feature, he will lock up that 3rd position in points. So he'll get a pretty good payday as we are on board with the 74 Blake Brown as qualifying is just now beginning.
And Blake Brown finally going onto the track for the first time tonight. We'll tuck it down into turn 1. You see him right there running right along the edge of that slickness, probably in the middle of the corner. It seems like throughout the practice session, the bottom of the racetrack got a little bit worn out and not enough of a cushion being built up for these UMP Modifieds carrying enough speed to run right along the top of the racetrack just yet, as Blake Brown will go across. First time put on the board will be a 20.001.
Going to go on board with Jacob Leverstein's. Had a great night last night, locked up the late model series championship. So he won some cash and prizes as well as a drive from the Kenny Wallace Dirt Racing Experience. A lot of stuff on the line last night. A lot of stuff on the line tonight as well. $200 championship purse, $1,000 assessed value WR1 Sim chassis. As we're looking at the 23, or not the 23, excuse me, the 27 of Jeremy Capron. He's normally the 23. And also a drive from the Kenny Wallace Dirt Racing Experience for tonight's champion. So I know Dylan Wilson's hungry for that. You know Howard Weaver is going to be hungry as well. But first things first, they got to be able to make this feature if they want to have a shot at trying to get the championship prizes.
Well, speaking of our Howard Weaver, he goes right to the top of the speed charts at 19.716. So Weaver, knowing he has to make up a little bit of a points deficit here, coming out and putting on a strong performance on early. Dylan Wilson has not put down a qualifying time just yet, as we have about 2 minutes elapsed here of 7. And Weaver bests that time again at .674 on the board, the only driver in the 19.6 mark.
Now, Wilson just now taking the green flag on his qualifying effort in that 80 car. Definitely going to keep our eye on both of these drivers throughout the entire night as he is on the backstretch now, coming through 3 and 4 to complete his first of 2 qualifying laps. Let's see what he runs here on the first lap. At the line, we're looking at a 19.716. Both of our championship contenders out here to play tonight. I believe that's what Weaver ran on his first lap as well. Let's see if Wilson can best that on this second go-around. And out of turn number 4, driver of the 80 car wheels it down towards the start-finish line. And he does not best it, but still second quick on the board.
Still second quick, and you were right. He ran the identical time that Weaver ran that first time around, so kind of interesting luck there, but we'll see. Cars are still on track as we continue to wind down. David Heileman coming out of turns 1 and 2 after completing lap number 2, actually, as he's, I think, just trying to get some practice there. 19.8 842 will start him in about the 10th spot. Looks like a lot of guys just kind of running out here trying to get a feel for the track and put some wear and tear on it before we get going. Not many cars left to put down a time. We got 3 cars that have yet to put down an effort here thus far.
And 3 cars. One of them is an admin tonight, so only 2 left. We're still waiting on John Fiddler and Lucas Chowning to make their qualifying attempt. They only have about 3 minutes to do so. So far, your top 5, you got Howard Weaver, Dylan Wilson, Jacob Leverstein, Leo Pena, and Jason Minat. Your top 5 rolling into this finale on the season. And, I mean, just the top 5 by itself, separated by less than 1/10 of a second. I mean, you go all the way back. You're looking towards Garrett Neberge, who is about in the 10th position until you find an exact 10th behind our pole time ran by Weaver.
Yeah, those guys at the top are very, very close. Again, no more drivers have made their way out here that have not completed a lap just yet, as we're waiting on Lucas Chowning, Steven Calavoda, and John Fiddler, one of those, the admin that's not going to race tonight. But everybody else, or we're waiting on Lucas Chowning and John Fiddler to put down a lap, but we're going to keep on waiting. They got 2 minutes left in this 7-minute qualifying session to do it. And until then, it's just kind of peace and quiet on the racetrack here before everything gets going in heat number 1.
Yeah, we've had a pretty good season so far here at the finale. We hope to wrap it up in an extraordinary fashion. Just looking at our race winners, we've had Mike McKinney come out here, win a race at Lyman Land, just dominating the top side. We've had Dylan Fox winning a race, Dylan Hauser winning a race, Virgil Graham taking home a checkered flag as well. And then you have 7 wins split between Wilson and Weaver leading into this last race. Looking through the standings, I mean, it's every single Wednesday night has had a tough field to get through. Every single Wednesday night has had a great racing so far in the previous 11 weeks that we've been covering them here on OCTV. And it's just been a pleasure. Lucas Chowning finally electing to come out onto the track here in the 47 car as he winds that UMP modified up. Comes off the berm a little funny. A lot of bouncing. That's another thing that we're going to have to worry about here as they tear this track down. What kind of bumps form both on entry and exit of these corners?
Well, one thing to watch also is going to be the inside of the racetrack. Obviously, a lot of these tracks kind of have an inside wall there to keep cars there, but obviously Knoxville Raceways, many of our dirt racing enthusiasts out there know, there's a cushion on the inside of the track that instead of hitting it and maybe checking up the field and losing some time, it's going to push you right back onto the racetrack, right in the racing groove. So guys are going to have to be conscious not to run too low right into that, because it's going to send them out into the rest of the field if they do.
And it looks like John Fiddler's not going to be able to get out here in time to get a qualifying effort. Actually, looking at the chat, he's going to be watching tonight. So we have 4 heat races coming up for you, and definitely a B main. Not so sure about a C main. We might have that here tonight. So 12 drivers, half the field, will lock themselves in through these heat races that are coming up here in just a few short moments. We're waiting on cars to get out on track, and then we'll run down our starting grid here for heat number 1.
Also, another thing, we're going to have all of these heat races for you tonight, 4 to be exact, 10 laps each. And of course, it's a little bit longer than what we are used to. Obviously, these guys clicking on some longer times. The corners don't have any banking, so it slows these guys down just a little bit. So 10 laps will be a little bit longer than what we're used to for some of these heat events.
All right, looks like the majority of the field is out there. On the left-hand side of your screen will be your starting grid for these heats. We're looking at 8 cars apiece until we get to heat number 4. Cole Falloway in the number 3 car after the 4-car invert going to start on the pole tonight. And to his outside, the 28 of Trevor Fitz going to take that position number 2. Lucas Chowning going to start out of the 3rd position, and to his outside, the 07 of Howard Weaver. Quick time winner here tonight. Blake Brown, the 74, going to start out of 5th if he gets on the grid in time. Eric Huff going to start to the outside in that number 5 car in position number 6. Cody Olson, the 6 car, going to roll off in 7th. And Dave Hartman, the 12 car, going to start in the 8th position. Top 3, as Blake said, transfer over to the main event just like that. And everybody else is going to have to run in a consolation race or a sub-feature in order to make the field tonight. Pace truck about to roll off of pit lane, and we'll get set for 2 parade laps around this half mile here at the Knoxville Raceway.
Get set for these 2 laps, and early on, we get to see one of our championship contenders, Howard Weaver, see if he can take the first step to try to make up all the 7 points he can. He's starting in Heat 1, and obviously he got the pole. If he can go up there and finish first, he'll be starting in first for the A-main. So obviously he's looking to make up all the points he can. That'll be very important for him. But it can also go bad just as quickly. If he gets shuffled out or gets in an accident, he's going to have to make up a lot of track position that we know Dylan Wilson's not very likely to give up since he's always so fast.
Yeah, Dylan Wilson definitely has been Mr. Consistent throughout the entire season. I mean, both the driver of the 80 and the 07, I mean, 9 top 10s out of 11 starts. You know, that's pretty good odds that they're going to at least finish in the top 10. Weaver needs to finish exactly 8 positions in front of Dylan Wilson in order to take the championship away from him. 7 spots if they want to tie atop the charts. And we still got a long way to go before we get to that feature race where we will decide that championship. But first, here we go. Heat number 1. Ready to take the green flag. Cole Falloway in the 3 car. He takes the green flag. Pace truck is off, and we are underway here for heat number 1 at Knoxville. Lucas Chowding looking to take over the lead as Trevor Fitz. He's going to split the difference into turn 1. Underneath the 3 car, Chowding's going to fall back into the 3rd position in front of Weaver, and Fitz down on the bottom. Looking to get around Cole Falloway. He's going to push up almost into the 3. They touch coming out of turn 4. Chowding now into the inside and to the race lead.
Really competitive racing here. Early on, Lucas Chowding grabs the lead, but he's going to have it taken away by that 28 as they go down. Fitz and Chowding side by side with Howard Weaver right behind him, trying to see if he can make up some track position. And now Chowding again for the crossover, 3 wide as they head off into turn 1. Howard Weaver on the bottom, right against that inside cushion. And how about this action here early on in Heat 1?
Yeah, Fitz now maintaining that lead after he got it away from Cole Falloway, who has fallen back to the 7th position after touching with Blake Brown in that 74 car, who was in 4th. Now our top 3 competitors, you could throw a blanket over them. They head back into turn 1 here on lap number 4 of the scheduled 10 for heat number 1. Lucas Chowding licking his chops there in 2nd position, loses a little bit of time to that 28 car. The 07 Howard Weaver now to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to capitalize on the 47's mistake, but to no avail. He's going to tuck back in that 3rd position.
Well, looking now, looks like on the restart, as guys got shuffled out, you got a lot of opportunity to pass. But as you get this run going, everybody's just running so even. That bottom lane so slicked off. It's just really hard to find somewhere right now to try and make up time. You can see it, these top 3, they're practically touching each other, as now Chowding will try to slide it in. Will pass Fitz with the slider. Fitz will cross him over. Coming off of turn number 2, Howard Weaver backs off, letting these guys duke it out. And again, Fitz on the bottom, slides up in front of Chowding, and Chowding will take the bottom once again. So when you can get side by side, it seems like both of these lanes are very even, allows for some close racing.
Yeah, tit for tat slide jobs between Fitz and Chowding there the last couple of laps. Last couple of corners. Chowding now has to back off a little bit. He's under fire from the 07 of Howard Weaver. We're closing into 3 laps to go in heat number 1. Fitz still out front. Chowding still in 2nd in that grayed out 47 car. The black and orange 07 of Howard Weaver getting chased down by Blake Brown in that 74 as well. He needs to maintain that 3rd spot if he wants to cement his spot in the feature here in this first heat. But Fitz now coming to 2 laps to go.
2 more laps remaining for Fitz. Can he hold off Lucas Chowding? Howard Weaver, now you can even throw Blake Brown in the mix as he has caught our top 3 though. Howard Weaver scrapes the outside wall, keeps it going. And it looks like we're going to have the white flag off of turn number 4. Can Chowding make a move and try to go up there and grab that pole position for the A-main? He'll dive it down to the bottom. Not much going. Howard Weaver will poke to the inside trying to take that second spot, but it looks like Fitz has it going into 3.
Yes, he does. The 28 car just needs to make one more corner. He's got it. Chowding has no run. Weaver now all over the back of Chowding. He's going to peek to the inside, but to no avail. He's still going to finish in that 3rd spot. Trevor Fitz, Lucas Chowding, and Howard Weaver punched their ticket into the feature race later on tonight. Blake Brown, Dave Hartman, Cole Falloway, Eric Huff, and Cody Olson. Your remaining results from heat number 1. They're going to have to do it the hard way here tonight in heat number 2, loading up onto the pit lane.
I'll tell you what, all our fans out there watching, I don't really know if you can see much better racing than that. Side-by-side action for the lead, really the entire heat. And then how about that invert there? Oftentimes here we see the guys who get shoved to the back able to make their way to the front. But a lot of these guys just weren't able to make up that difference. Trevor Fitz started 2nd, finished 1st. Lucas Chowding started 3rd, finished 2nd, and Howard Weaver started 4th and finished 3rd. So it looks like our pole sitter, Cole Falloway, was the only one with an issue. But how about that action there? And we'll get you set up here for heat number 2.
Yeah, great action in heat number 1. Heat number 2 grid is as follows. Drew Phillips in the double deuce going to start out of position number 1 into his outside. The 19 car of Garrett Newbergy. 3rd place going to go to the 10 car of Jason Minat, and the 80 of Dylan Wilson going to start to his outside in row number 2. Jeremy Capron, the 27 car, going to start out of the 5th spot, and to his outside, Clay Debin in the 84 car. The 68 of John Little going to start out of 7th, and John Fiddler, who did not make a qualifying time, is not going to race tonight, is not going to be in this race. So 7 cars here for heat number 2, 3 spots to be had for the feature race, and Dylan Wilson, championship points leader coming into tonight. He's got to cement his place in that feature if he wants to be close enough to Weaver to, make sure he can maintain that points gap between him and that 07. So look for him to try and get around either one of these 3 cars that he is surrounded by and adjacent to. But Drew Phillips, that 22 car, he needs a good run here tonight. Let's see if he can maintain this pole and get himself into the feature. Pace truck is off. Green flag is out. That 22 car down and away.
Yeah, that 22 got a pretty good jump there, but still a 3-wide battle, 2-wide battle for the lead settles out. Now that 13 car will move into the 2nd spot. And it looks like Dylan Wilson trying to make his way along the outside for 3rd. He'll take that spot away from the 10. Dylan Wilson trying to make up as much ground as possible here. Is now Wilson's going to work up on that number 19 Garrett machine. Sorry, the 13 was a little bit blurry on my screen. But Drew Phillips still holding it down. And Dylan Wilson really has a good opportunity here. If he can make his way ahead of 3rd, he'll start ahead of Howard Weaver.
Yeah, Phillips still out in front. Newbergy now in 2nd. Wilson in 3rd. Minat got passed by the 80 car there on that first lap to go back to the 4th position. Him and Capron were having a little bit of a battle going on, a little beating and banging. Here comes Minat to the outside of Dylan Wilson. Will Wilson be able to squeeze back in up top? He will. He looked underneath the 19 car there coming out of turn number 4. Here goes Minat to the inside of the 80 car. This could be major championship implications if a wreck were to happen between this 80 and the 10 car. Looks like Minat's going to give them enough room as they work their way back off of turn number 4, going to complete lap number 4.
Yeah, they are. Oh, Dylan Wilson gets shoved out of the way by Minat. They make contact. Wilson, or that's Capron that's around. Minat is also around. He gets the bad end of that. Wilson keeps it going straight. Will maintain his spot in 3rd, but it got really hairy there for that championship contender in turn 1.
Yeah, it did. I didn't even see what happened. I went back to look at the stats of the race so far, and commentator's curse strikes again just about. But Drew Phillips still maintaining that race lead out there, proving track position is still king, especially here at the Knoxville Raceway right now, especially with the track how it is, a 1-lane raceway. We got a battle going on for the race lead, though. Newbergy trying to get to the inside of that 22 car as they come out of turn number 2. But he's going to lose a lot of ground to Phillips in that race lead position. Wilson, though, I mean, he's just shot out of a cannon now. He's caught these guys back up, pretty quickly there.
Yeah, he has, and you can even see right there with Nabergi, it's just so hard to try to make a move. You can't really go around the outside of a guy because there's just not enough room on the racetrack. And then you look at that bottom, and there's just so much slickness down there. You don't have enough grip to try and turn the car and get a run on the guy when he's holding you down there. So really, really hard to try and pass here. But how about Wilson, though, gets under Nabergi, who gets loose out of turn 2. This might be his opportunity to make it up to second.
Yeah, he's looking to do it as we ride along with the visor cam here, or we were, as Wilson now back behind Nabergi with the white flag out for Drew Phillips. Let's see if he can maintain this lead and get himself a heat win. Definitely a confidence booster heading into the offseason or heading into the feature later on. He's going to start near the front of the pack if he can do it. Still side by side for second behind him. Wilson has a spot for just a second, but Nabergi going to come through, and Wilson gets it at the line. Drew Phillips gets the checkered flag. Dylan Wilson second. Garrett Nabergi third. Those are your transfers from heat number 2. John Littoral all the way from worst to fourth. Clay Debin, Jason Minette, Jeremy Capron, your results from heat number 2. But a great move there for that 80 car coming into the final corner to get that second spot away from that 19 car.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dylan Wilson was helped by the fact that the start-finish line is so long here. It's really at the entrance of turn 1. Usually when you get to the start-finish line, if it's not at the end of the race, you're having to set up for your next corner. But Wilson was just able to hold the throttle down and keep it going as if he wasn't even going to make the corner in turn 1 because he didn't have to. And it looks like that was the one that made the difference there. A good move there on the final lap will move him into second, so he'll start in front of Howard Weaver for the A main feature, which I'm sure is exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wanted. But now your lineup for heat number 3 out on the track right now, the 999 car of Dylan Fox and the 42 of Virgil Graham make up the front row, both previous race winners here in the UMP Modified Series this season. Randall Carter going to start out of the 3rd position in that 37 machine. And to his outside, the late model champion, the 777 of Jacob Leverstein. Jacob Fields, the 007, going to start out of position number 5. And Adam Bush, the 26 car, going to start in the 6th position. And Dennis Podridge Jr., the 99 car, going to start out of the 7th spot.
And meanwhile, we got our 2 championship contenders out of the way here in heats 1 and 2. Of course, you got to remember all these guys would have put on a good show for the final event of the year. And all these guys may not care too much. Obviously, if you're a racer, you want to pull up to a racetrack and prove yourself to win regardless. We'll see what they can do. Is Fox will get a good jump, gets out front early, green flag as they go off into turn 1 for heat 3.
Yeah, Adam Bush back there in 26 got into the outside retaining wall just a little bit. He's going to go to the back of the pack. But Fox now able to pull in front of Graham. Graham dives it into 3 in that 42 machine, almost into that 999 as he pushes Fox out a little wide as they're trying. It looks like that 999 is trying to widen the groove out just a little bit, putting that right rear tire right there at the edge of where the dirt starts to turn darker. But Leverstein now on the back of that 42 as well. The top 3 as they run will transfer to our main event later on tonight. Randall Carter looking to throw a spanner in the works for that 77 to see if he can get that 3rd position as well.
Yeah, Leverstein had a chance to move up into second, but Graham able to slowly pull away. However, that transfer spot is getting quite a battle as Randall Carter sitting right behind that 777 machine. Will pull up right to the back of him. Just, again, I'm sure he's just biding his time. So hard to make a move. Not sure if you want to go all the way down to the bottom or just kind of go right in side by side, give the guy a little nudge. It's just really hard to pass here. But it looks like we're going to have quite a battle here for the top 3 and for the transfer spot to the A main later on tonight. But now Jacob Leverstein starting to make up a little bit of ground on that 42.
Yeah, Graham really working that wheel in 3 and 4 last time around. Ooh, Leverstein almost into the left rear of that 42 machine as Graham was just a little bit too over-rotated in 3 and 4 last time around. Dylan Fox starting to walk away with this race lead as we are just now at halfway here at heat number 3. Virgil Graham in that 42 still in that second position, and Jacob Leverstein still in third. Randall Carter, he's maintaining a gap between himself and that 777, but he's definitely going to have to pull something off here if he wants to try and get around one or both of these guys and cement his spot in the main later on tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, track position matters here. Obviously, our pole sitter last heat ended up winning. Dylan Fox not only is running up front, but continuing to pull away. So it shows you this invert may not have or has quite a bit of power here at the Knoxville Raceway. They sit first, second, and then obviously Randall Carter started in third and is in fourth right now. But it looks like track position is just so important because it's so difficult to try and pass, as Jacob Leverstein was able to move up to third but just can't find a way to get around that 42 car.
And here comes Fields now onto the back of that 37 as well. The battle getting ready to rage on for that fourth position. But Dylan Fox now coming out of turn number 4. He's going to come to the white flag here for heat number 3. And he's got a good 6/10 gap back to that 42 of Virgil Graham. And looks like as long as everybody plays nice, those top 3 will transfer over to our main event later on this evening. Dylan Fox out of turn 4 this time. Going to take the checkered flag for heat number 3. Virgil Graham second, Jacob Leverstein third.
We'll have Randall Carter finishing 4th, Jacob Fields in 5th, Adam Bush in 6th, and then Dennis Potridge Jr. will finish up in 7th. One more heat to go, and I think that's really what we got to look at. We looked at the qualifying times, and just everybody's running so competitive here. Practically every time in qualifying was a 19.7 to a 19.9. We're used to seeing a lot more separation. So I just got to think track position is what matters, and the way you make up these spots is going to have to be on the restarts when you're all bunched up.
Yeah, like you said, track position is king, and your grid position is also king as well. We've seen it time after time here in these heats. Whoever's starting in 4th, they definitely get the advantage on getting into turn number 1 on the initial restart, or the initial start, excuse me. And 3rd place just ends up falling back to 4th. We do have heat number 4 out here. What are you doing, Heileman? Let's get rolling, bud. Come on now. There he goes. Don't hit the inside wall now. You're good. You're good. You're good. Starting grid for heat number 4. The 29 of David Heileman going to be on the pole for this last heat race. Kyle Miller, the 25 car, going to start to his outside in row number 1. Dalton Connor and Leo Pena, the 23 and the 16, respectively, make up row number 2. Benjamin Nading in the 21 machine going to start out of position number 5. And the 00, Kendall Tucker, going to start in 6th. And then the 20 car, Ryan Gaunt, going to round out our 7 car field for heat number 4. We'll know if we get a C main after this race finishes. We might get a C main, but we're definitely going to have a B main for you after these heats wrap up. David Heileman, though, kind of surprising to see him have to use the invert to get up there to that pole position. Normally he's towards the top of the speed charts, but that just shows you week in and week out how stiff the competition is here at the Accelerated UMP Modified Series presented by WR1 Sim Chassis. Pace strut, we're going to make that a hard left-hand turn, get to the safety of pit lane, and Heileman's going to start us off here, and he's down and away. Green flag is out for heat number 4, another 10 laps on the board.
And right away, Heileman will jump out to the lead. Kyle Miller, though, under assault there for that second spot, gets away. That 16 car of Leo Pena starting to make up some ground, though, on that high side, holding down that 23 of Dalton Connor on the bottom of the racetrack. Pena will beat him at the line. And it looks like Dalton Connor just not where you want to be on the bottom of that racetrack. Sorry, that's 16 of Pena moves up into 3rd, and now he'll look to try to chase down Kyle Miller.
And 16 in that final transfer spot. Dalton Connor filing onto the preferred racing groove in that 23 car. Heileman pulling away from the rest of the pack, though, as pretty much the other 6 cars are, relatively close to each other. You got the 25, 16, 23, and 00, Kendall Tucker, all close together here as Tucker's trying to get that 4th position away from the 23 car, back behind our top 3. Do you see Tucker? He dives into the inside. He's going to put the slider on the 23. He gets a little shove from Connor as well. Tucker going to take that 4th position, with a pretty aggressive move there into turn 1.
Well, I think that's how you have to pass people. You just don't have enough speed to hold it on the bottom and try to beat the guy that way. You just have to slide it in there and hope that you get right in front of him and maybe check him up a little bit. That's the best way you can do it. We look out in front of us. Pena's starting to catch Kyle Miller, and even you can see right there, that 16 car is probably a little bit faster than that 25, but it's just not in the cards to try to pass these guys. They're starting to run a little bit higher and start to kind of take more of a diamond pattern into the corner, but right now it's just so hard to try to pass people unless you kind of throw a slider like Kendall Tucker just did.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was textbook. I don't think Connor saw it coming, to be honest with you. That's why he ended up getting to the back of him. Now Connor's to the inside of him as they are coming out of turn number 2, heading down the backstretch. 00 still has that spot. And I mean, prime example, I mean, you see the 16 here in 3rd. He's trying to get around that 25. He has a faster car, but he just can't, put it on the bottom, generate any kind of speed, and try and make a move on that 25. Here goes Pena back to the running the middle of the slick, and now diamonding off the corner. He's going to ride that inside berm a little bit, and actually did maintain a little bit of speed. Now all the way to the bottom he goes with 2 laps to go. 25 kind of steps out of the groove a little bit, and Miller's still going to maintain that 2nd spot as of right now.
He is. Pena making up a little ground, but if Miller doesn't get loose, can't really see how he's going to make that bottom work. They'll take the white flag. 1 more lap to go. And how about David Heileman? You said taking advantage of the invert, not something we typically see, but with how this racing has been tonight, so probably a good thing that he did it, as he'll come out of turn number 4. And David Heileman going to be a heat winner here at the Knoxville Raceway for the final race of the season. Kyle Miller going to hold on to 2nd. Leo Pena going to finish in 3rd. Kendall Tucker 4th. Dalton Connor in 5th. Benjamin Nading in 6th. And then Ryan Gaunt is going to finish up in 7th. And it looks like we are going to bypass that C main, and we're going to go straight to a 19 car, at least on the grid. I think we're going to only have 17 cars running. We're going to have a 17 car field, and 12 are going to transfer onto our feature.
A lot of cars here. 8 laps for this B main as well, so not a lot of time to get where you need to get to. Of course, looking at Benjamin Nading back here in that 12th spot, that's where the transfer is right now. So also want to correct something as well in the late models and the modifieds for these series. If you qualify in the top 4 and finish in the top in the transfer spots in your heat, you get your original starting position on the grid for that particular race. So Weaver will have the pole. Dylan Wilson will start on the outside of row number 1. What is John Literal doing here? He's supposed to be starting 2nd. I believe he is taking a self given EOL there. So now we're going to roll through the starting grid for this B main. Blake Brown going to start on the pole, and looking at it, Kendall Tucker is going to start to the outside in row number 1. Randall Carter in 3rd. Then you have Clay Devitt in 4th. The 12 of Dave Hartman going to start in 5th. And the 23 of Dalton Connor are going to start out of position number 6. Looking back here, I'm trying to get this as accurate as humanly possible. Jacob Fields going to start in the 9th position. Jason Minat in 10th. And then it looks like we got Adam Bush in the 26th. The 5 of Eric Huff. On the inside row, the 21 of Benjamin Nading going to start out of position number 12. Huff is in 13th. Capron is going to be in 14th. The 99 of Dennis Potters Jr. in 15th. 16th going to be Ryan Gaunt. The 6 car, Cody Olson, going to be in 16th or 15th. 16th going to be the 68 of Literal, and the 3 car of Cole Falloway going to start out in the back of the pack. Green flag is out. Blake Brown down and away. B main action coming to you here live from the Knoxville Raceway 8 laps to determine who makes or breaks the field. We're going 3 wide, capers around in the back, the 27, the 68, the 20 involved. And we're not done, folks. We got a 3-car breakaway, and then we have about 4 or 5 cars just about side by side. Look at Fields down there in that 007. Took it 3 wide to get around that 12 car, and that 23 now around the outside. Going to move up into the 4th position. Fields back to 6. Minette in that 6th position. Up to 5th now as he hits the outside retaining roll.
Eric Coe spinning on the backstretch. Clay Debin is in it as well. That's the second kind of skirmish he was involved in. He lost a lot of time there early. They'll keep it going, though. No caution flag. And that just goes to show you how desperate these guys are to try to make up position on the restart. As now we look out front, a battle for the lead. Kendall Tucker throws a slider, checks up the 74 of Blake Brown, move Tucker to the lead, and now that allows that 37. They'll shove Tucker into the wall going into turn 1. The 37 of Randall Carter now takes the lead, and Blake Brown now has a chance to gain it back.
Oh, and Carter gets into the right-hand side of that 74 car. Kendall Tucker trying to get to the inside of the 74 as well. Now Carter going to split the difference. Hit through the middle between the double lot and the 74 car. He moves himself back up to the 2nd position. Blake Brown, still your race leader, just past halfway here in this B main. These guys are getting it tonight. They want to start towards the front of the field. The winner of this one will start 13th on the grid. So Randall Carter's trying to get that coveted 13th starting position. And then, looking throughout the back of the pack, I mean, there's not a lot of side-by-side as of right now. But Carter, he gets into Brown. Brown gets into the outside retaining wall. Carter takes a slide job line, gets that lead. Blake Brown coming up with a head of steam, almost into the back of him. He gets into Tucker here at the line.
Yeah, this is some great action. Kendall Tucker throwing sliders like he's Randy Johnson out on the mound as he'll dive it below Blake Brown. We can guess what we're going to see now is he'll try to slide it up in front of him. Oh, he checks up as he's not able to clear him. Blake Brown holds on to 2nd. But how about that 37 of Randall Carter running up in the top spot? Has quite a gap between him and that 74. And then you got Kendall Tucker holding on to 3rd right in front of Dalton Connor. Seems like we've gotten single file here, but man, it was hairy for several laps up there.
Well, I can tell you, Randall Carter's going to take the win here. The battle for the transfer spot is on. Ryan Gaunt puts a slider on, who is that? That's the 99 of Potteridge. He's going to take that last transfer spot. Ryan Gaunt gets it on the last lap. You got Randall Carter, Blake Brown, Kendall Tucker, Dalton Connor, Jason Minat, Jacob Fields, Dave Hartman, Benjamin Nading, Adam Bush, Cody Olson, Cole Falloway, and Ryan Gaunt going to move on to our feature event. Dennis Potteridge Jr., John Literal, Jeremy Caper, and Eric Huff, and Clay Debin going to go home here tonight. And wow, just beating and banging throughout the first couple of laps during that event. I mean, there was still some beating and banging in the back of the pack, but just an incredible race there to make that feature event. So hopefully that's a precursor to what we're going to see here at the last race of the season, just after we get through a couple of things. So
yeah, hopefully some great action there, and hopefully we can continue it as we'll transfer servers, clean the racetrack off a little bit. Hopefully can open up this track a little bit to where we can see some more moves, but hopefully things are progressing in the right direction after that exciting B main.
All right, got to thank our sponsors on the screen, all of the sponsors who sponsored the 2018 season. Of course, we got to thank X.CELERATED for being the title sponsor for all 3 of our Big 3 series here this season. Also got to thank WR1 Sim Chassis. They're going to be giving away that sim rig we talked about earlier too, the modified champion, whether it be Wilson or Weaver. Fastest lap sponsor for all 3 series this entire season has been Team Friday Chassis Consultants. Tonight's hard charge are going to be given out by Burberry Designs. And the Kenny Wallace Dirt Racing Experience is going to be giving away a free drive to our champion tonight, as well as the rest of the champions on the season. Got to thank a couple of affiliates as well. Dirt Car Racing, Extreme Race Graphics, RacingN.com, Farmer City Raceway, Tennessee Punch Bunch, the St. Louis Dirt Track Racing and the Volusia Speedway Park. We'll be right back after the break. Feature service should be going up in a couple of seconds, so don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with the feature race live here on OCTV.
Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is Dirt Racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system, developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, Legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the Dirt Revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Knoxville Raceway. We're getting set for our final feature race of the season. We're going to crown a champion at the end of 60 laps here. Of course, cautions do not count at all in the UMP Modified Series. So we will, as always, as we've done the whole season, keep you updated on the current lap count. Drivers trying to break in this fairly unused track here to see if we can promote some two-groove racing. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case if everybody keeps running that bottom side. But like I said, 60 laps. We're going to take a champion out of here tonight between Howard Weaver and Dylan Wilson. Both will start on the front row, though. It's going to be who can get out there and stay out front. I mean, as long as Wilson doesn't fall back beyond the 8th position, he has it in the bag. But, of course, anything can happen in these races, and we've seen it time and time again. Anything will happen in these races as well.
That is certainly true. Anything can happen, and I'll tell you what, I know people may think, oh, the championship battle is overemphasized. Maybe we talk about it too much, but I'm telling you what, and this is not a sponsor plug. WR1 Sim Chassis, I've seen the chassis they make, and I mean, they are phenomenal. They do a great job, go into great detail, really set it up nice. So whoever wins this is going to walk away with a really great prize. Aside from, the Kenny Wallace racing experience as well, it's really, really nice what these guys are able to do. And for a lot of people out there who may not be aware, there are prizes to guys running racing on their computers. It's not just prize money at their local dirt track on Saturday night. They can come up here, and if there's competition and people want to be a part of it, they can get some good partners together and make something as well. So this stuff is it's really no joke when it comes to that. And obviously WR1 Sim Chassis does a great job making their equipment.
And it's a shame Chad Wheeler didn't make his way out here tonight, missing the 88 car out on the track. I mean, just looking from the late models last night to tonight, how big the purse is. You're looking at maybe $400 or $500 for the late model champion last night. Tonight we're looking at almost $1,600 worth of cash and prizes these drivers are going to be battling for. So it's the last race of the season. What else are we supposed to talk about? It's championship night. Let's celebrate a champion at the end of this race.
Absolutely. Let's try to do that. Just waiting on these guys to, I guess, everybody to file in here as we reconnect to this new server. As we were mentioning a little bit, they had the luxury of selecting what the track will be at. And for those of you who are aware of iRacing, they decided to make it with slight usage for right now. And obviously they have the practice session that'll carry over to the race as well. So means the bottom of the track already a little slicked off, and obviously getting some work right now as these guys will continue to put down some practice laps. But for those of you out there, we're going to have that 60-lap A main coming up in just a bit, and I'll tell you what, that makes it a really long drive to the end of this thing. Tonight's going to be a race of attrition, and if that last heat is any indication, it can get very hairy very quickly.
Yeah, and I expect that it will. I mean, you've got some of the best drivers on iRacing out here week in and week out, and a lot of fast competitors. I mean, we saw it in qualifying, we saw it in the heat races, we saw it in the B main. There's not a single driver out here that is a slouch by any means when it comes to carrying speed through these races. So y'all are in for a treat. We are in for a treat. I'm excited to go ahead and wrap this season up. I mean, just looking at the practice standings right now, Dylan Wilson, he's already on top of the leaderboard. So he's going to be looking for that checkered flag. I mean, even so, he wants to get solidly take home the most wins on the season as well. If he wins tonight, that'll be 5 on the season for him. If Howard wins, that'll be 4 on the season for him. Everybody else, you're either looking at first-time winners or maybe our only other repeat winner on the season. So, I mean, we haven't had a lot of different guys up here on top of the podium this season. It'd be interesting to see if we can get a fresh face up here, or will we see an old familiar at the end of the night.
We'll see if it's familiar, but I think the one thing we're interested in the booth is out there, who are you guys picking to win this race? And not only win this race, win this championship. Are you in Weaver Nation or are you in Wilson Nation tonight? We want to see your comments and who you think may be coming out on top tonight. But the practice session is over, and we're going to look forward to the grid for tonight's 60-lap feature at the Knoxville Raceway.
All right, and we have 2 extra cars that are going to be out on the grid as well. So 26 drivers competing for that coveted checkered flag at the end of the night. I'm going to let some of these guys load into the pit lane here at the Knoxville Raceway, and then we'll get set to run down our starting grid for tonight's final race of the first season of 2018. Good enough. Howard Weaver going to start on the pole here in the 07 car. That's invisible right now. So we're going to call him Wonder Woman as of right now. Dylan Wilson, the 80 car, going to start to his outside in row number 1. Jacob Leverstein going to start out of position number 3 in the 777s alongside the 16 car of Leo Pena. Trevor Fitz going to start out of position number 5 in that 28 car. And the 22 of Drew Phillips. Actually, Howard Weaver missed the start. Received thorough put. He's not going to make the start of the race, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty much going to seal the deal. Oh, my goodness gracious. We didn't even get off the grid, and we've already crowned a champion. Okay, back to the grid. Dylan Fox going to start out of 7th. David Heileman going to start in the 8th position. Lucas Chowning 9th, and Virgil Graham going to start out of position number 10. Kyle Miller going to start in 11th. Garrett Naberge 12th. Randall Carter 13th. Blake Brown in the 14th spot. 15th going to go to Kendall Tucker. Dalton Connor is going to start out of position number 16. 17th and 18th is going to be Jason Minat and Jacob Fields. Dave Hartman in 19th. And Adam Bush rounds out our top 20. Cody Olson, Cole Falloway going to start 21st and 22nd. Ryan Gaunt in 23rd. 24th going to be Eric Huff. Jeremy Capron 25th. And Benjamin Nading going to start out of position number 26. So that's going to default the race lead and control of the start here to the 777 of Jacob Leverstein, coming off of his late model championship last night. Will he be able to pick up the W here tonight? He's got a hard charge, and Dylan Wilson to his outside. Pace truck about to come off. And for the final time for the UMP Modified Series, we are green. And down and underway goes the 777 car. Trevor Fitz gets in front of the 80. As now the 999 of Dylan Fox trying to get around him as well on the bottom of the racetrack. Dylan Wilson back to the 3rd position, but Jacob Leverstein leads us into 3.
Yeah, Leverstein holding down that lead right now at the top of the pack. Trevor Fitz looking to dig. Dylan Wilson already moving up to the 3rd spot as he'll get around that 999 machine of Dylan Fox. But you can look back through this field, some incredible battles going on. Lucas Chowning side by side. That 25 car or 27 car, Kyle Miller side by side behind him as well. All the way through this pack, they're racing hard. They're racing side by side here at Knoxville.
And now a little bit of single file. Virgil Graham actually to the inside of the 22 as Howard Weaver has made it out on track here at lap 3. That's going to put him 2 laps down. Now Graham trying to get around Phillips. He's going to do so on the entry into turn number 3. Phillips now under fire from the 00 of Kendall Tucker back here. That's for the 9th position, as everybody else is pretty much single file until you get right in front of this battle, actually, between the 27 and the 47. But back behind him, I mean, there is just a cluster of cars back here side by side going at it, throwing those elbows up. You see Randall Carter on the high side in that 37 trying to get around that 10. as the 27 of Miller gets around Chowning for that 6th position. Battle is on for 2nd as well.
Yeah, the battle is on for the 2nd spot right now, and it looks like Dylan Wilson going to be able to easily overtake that 28 machine of Trevor Fitz. So move Dylan Wilson up into the 2nd spot. That's not what you wanted to see if you're a Howard Weaver, but also Weaver, for those of you, he is back in this thing. He's running on the racetrack right now, 2 laps down. We're on lap number 6 of 60, so he's got a little bit of time to try to make that up, see if he can get back on the lead lap, but certainly not the start that Howard Weaver wanted. And actually, the caution comes out right now.
Yeah, caution back behind him, a couple of blinking cars. Looking forward, I believe it was Jeremy Capron who ended up getting involved in that incident. We're going to go back and look. Yeah, it was. Looks like he sort of checked up for the 20, and the 007 got into him, turned him around. The one got a little piece of the back of the 007 of Fields, but Jeremy Capron going to pretty much end his night tonight in that 23 car. So first caution out at lap number 7, I believe. We'll get the final word from the admins here in a minute.
We'll see, but we'll look at the 07 car. He'll come around the pace car. He's being waved around the field. I think he's actually going to be waved around twice. So I believe they were going to just wait for the caution flag to come out, and then I think he's going to be able to be put on the tail end of the lead lap. We haven't heard anything from the officials running this thing, so not exactly sure, but it looks like he's going to drive around the field again. And I believe that's what they would probably do, is give him his position, but put him at the end of the longest line. So he'll have quite a climb there to get back. And then, of course, you look in the 2nd spot, and your championship leader is already there, not what you wanted to see.
Yeah, confirmed from the admins. We've got 7 laps down, 53 left to run here. Jacob Leverstein, your race leader, as they should start the line back up 2 by 2 to get this thing reset. Like you said, Blake, Howard's going to have a tough time getting through that field. As we've seen throughout the night, track position is king. That bottom side starting to blue groove now, so we should start seeing the rest of the field start to migrate up to that high line, or the middle of the track, really, because high line, you're in the catch fence. But either way, only 7 laps down. And Jacob Leverstein going to come back to the green flag, going to have the race lead. He dictates the restart. Let's see what he does here. See if he can keep that 80 car of Wilson at bay. Pace truck is off, and we are down and underway. Green flag is back in the air for the 2nd time tonight. Trevor Fitz gets a good jump on the 80 car, but still to the bottom. A lot of people are going here on this initial start. Dylan Fox is a little bit screwy back there. 3 wide between the 16, 999, and 27. Into turn 3 they go. To 27 backed off a little bit. That's Kyle Miller trying to get that 4th position. Still battling for that 5th position with Pena back there as well.
Yeah, Pena holding tight on the bottom. Oh, Fitz gets a little out of shape. That's going to check up Pena, and that entire bottom line creates kind of an accordion effect all the way throughout the field. Kendall Tucker and the 37 of Randall Carter got shoved out. Pena gets run into the back of by that 42. He'll keep holding it down, though, as it looks like Pena will hold on to position number 6. And right now, that battle right now, right behind him, really close between Drew Phillips and David Heileman. Heileman moving up to the top side now, getting a little bit of a look there from Cody Olson on the bottom. Almost gets into him, checks him up, which in turn checks up Blake Brown. So great battling back here. That's for the 12-13 spot. Oh, Cody Olson, more contact there with Minette. Is able to save it on the bottom, but that 007 off the inside cushion looks like he's going to loop it. And we are still green as he was able to keep it straight.
I can't believe that. That is a wheelman and a half, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there are battles all over this racetrack. Looking back up here with Minat and Heileman. In front of them, you got Tucker and Chowning doing battle. DeBerge trying to get around Olsen back here. Blake Brown and Ryan Gaunt doing battles as well. I mean, you kind of need an ultra-wide HD TV if you want to catch all of these battles out here tonight. And then, of course, we got a battle up here for 3rd as well between Fitz and Fox. And the battle on for the race lead.
Yeah, plethora of battles out here as Dylan Wilson has finally caught Jacob Leverstein, starting to make up just a little bit of ground on him. And another interesting thing, it seems like guys are running right along that inside cushion, not seeing too many guys running the top side. So a little bit of change from what we saw here in a lot of our heats. Dylan Wilson gets a run off of 2, not able to quite get to that 777 as he continues to work him over. But that battle for third is on as Dylan Fox utilizing that inside cushion on the bottom. Trevor Fitz on the high side. Fox may have a good run at him and move up into third, as he may not clear him off of 2, doesn't move up. He can, though. He moves into the third spot.
Yeah, the bottom probably has some of that RJ1 compound thrown on there like they put at Bristol, because the bottom now looking pretty strong early on in the going here tonight. Battle still on for the race lead, though. Wilson to the inside of Leverstein off of turn number 2. Let's see if he can get it. He's going to push Leverstein up a groove. Not going to get into him, though. Get as close to that inside berm as he possibly can, but loses a ton of time off of turn number 4. Leverstein retains that lead, but I mean, you keep going further back into the field, and there's just cars all over the place. I mean, back here where Heilemann is, I mean, this is like back in 13th, 12th, 13th, 14th, folks. I mean, these guys are digging.
Yeah, they are as we approach lap 17.
Okay. We're gonna go on board with the 19 of Newbergy, as he's got a good front row seat to this battle between Heilemann and Brown right in front of him. The 25 car on the outside, 74 to the inside. And, I mean, you can just see the high side. I mean, they're pretty much even right now. We are at lap 17 of the scheduled 60 on the evening. And, you know, not really a lot of stuff going on towards the front of the field. A lot of single file action. First side-by-side we start to see here. Well, it was side-by-side there for a little bit. Drew Phillips and Jason Minat, for that 10th position. But still back here where Newbergy was looking at. That 25 and that 74 still duking it out for that 13th spot. Heilemann on the high side following Lucas Chowning through the dust clouds that are starting to form here. Oh, going to split the difference. 3 wide. The 25 gets around the 74. Now he's to the inside of the 47. Heilemann hadn't been on the bottom of the racetrack too often. He rides the berm a little bit on the entry into 3. Pushes up the track. Chowning going to retake that spot. That's the battle for 12th. And then you look up here between 4th and 9th, and you can pretty much throw a blanket over these 2 groups of 3 cars here. And then the first 3 cars are broke away. Dylan Fox has caught up to our battle for the race lead as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing. If you get battling side by side, it allows people to catch back up, as we now kind of have 3 cars that you could consider battling for the lead. And really, you have 3 car packs all around this place, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, with Fox trailing there in 3rd. Then you got a 3-way battle for that 4th spot between Trevor Fitz, Leo Pena, and Virgil Graham, as he'll try to move on the inside of Pena. And then, you know, you could look back from them and see another 3-car battle. So it seems like a kind of a trio of cars all the way up here in the top 10 are battling right now. The best battle, though, Virgil Graham trying to make it work on the bottom of Leo Pena, not able to do it, though. Pena will hold on to 5th. Now Pena goes to the inside of Trevor Fitz looking for 4th, not able to do it. And again, this racetrack developing a lot differently than I thought we would see. I thought we would see that bottom slicking off and everybody would want to go to the top, but that is not what we are seeing. You really can see guys running all over this racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an improvement from the heat races. I mean, we were looking at one groove racing, lap 25 now complete on scoring and timing. But, I mean, now you're seeing cars all over the place. I mean, especially back here with Fitz. Fitz is on the inside. The outside now, Leo Pena. He's going to try and get around for that 4th position. The 28 still stuck on the inside. Virgil Graham going to follow that 16 as well, as Pena gets up to the 4th spot. Kendall Tucker's caught up to this battle as well. He's almost into the left rear of that 42 car, getting into turn 3 that time.
Yeah, that 3-car battle, again, battling will allow these cars to catch up now. Kendall Tucker trying to make his move as he'll move into this battle for what would be the 6th spot right now. This is going to become almost a 5 or 6 car pack right here, as it looks like Virgil Graham gets checked up there, tried to look on the inside of Fitz, not able to get it done. And I'll check Graham up as he'll work the bottom. Kendall Tucker also working right along that cushion there on the inside of the Knoxville Raceway. I think Tucker's just biding his time, trying to see if he can throw a slider on these guys.
And Weaver, who just got his laps back, he's finally back up to the 18th position in that 07 car. He's going to need some help with a couple of yellow handkerchiefs, but we don't want to see that right now. The racing has just been too good between all of our competitors here tonight. The top 3 have broken away to a 3-second advantage over 4th place right now, as they're side by side, 2 rows deep, heading into turn 1. Virgil Graham on the inside of Pena, Tucker on the inside of Fitz. Graham gets into the 16 a little bit, checks him up. Graham's going to go to the 4th spot. Here comes a 00 to follow suit. He's to the inside of the 16 into turn number 3, and almost to the inside of the 42 as well. 3 wide battle for that 5th spot.
Fitz will try to stick that nose in there, gets shoved by Leo Pena out of the groove. Pena tries to make it 3 or 2 wide there. Try to get that momentum on the bottom. Fitz, though, hanging tough on the outside. Not sure how much he appreciated that 16. Not shoving him, just cutting off his nose there on the front stretch, but move Kendall Tucker, who's really kind of been one showman out here trying to throw some mean slide jobs. He's up to the 5th spot, and Virgil Graham also able to get away in 4th. Trevor Fitz now will fall back to 6th, and Leo Pena will take down 7th now. The top 3 have not changed yet. And now you got Kyle Miller and Randall Carter, who may become part of this battle for the 6th and 7th spot.
Yeah, they're closing in pretty quickly now, as it looks like those 4 competitors are now back into a single file line. Fitz, he's working it outside and, keeping a little bit of speed. The bottom's starting to slick off a lot more, so we should see these cars start to migrate. As we see Fitz into the wall after Kendall Tucker tries to go up high, moves that 28 into the outside retaining wall. But you could keep up with how close the top 3 are on the left-hand side of the screen as well, as I was just informed by our producer. Let's see, Graham still out front of this pack. Tucker, Fitz. Now Pena starting to fall back. Here comes the 27 of Kyle Miller. Battle going to be on for 7th here pretty quickly, as now the 27's migrated up to the high side as well. Carter trying to split the difference on the racing groove. He goes through the center of 3 and 4.
Battle for the lead.
And the battle is on for the race lead.
Yeah, the battle is on for the race lead. Dylan Fox now becoming part of the fray as well. Dylan Wilson was up high, had a chance at Jacob Leverstein there, was not able to pull it off, though. He got shoved out, and that allows Dylan Fox to go on the bottom, as Dylan Wilson will shove it up the middle, 3 wide, as he'll go from 3rd to 2nd. Looking for 1st in turn 3, pushes it up on the inside cushion. Side by side, you couldn't fit a paper between him and Leverstein. Leverstein will have it at the line, but Dylan Wilson looking for the slide job in 1. He'll throw it. Leverstein will check up. Looks to make the crossover move. Dylan Fox also wanting a part of it. Wilson holds the lead now. Leverstein on the bottom in 3. Pushes up. The 80, though, keeps it on his quarter panel, but Leverstein gets the momentum on the bottom side. He'll move back to the lead.
Woo! I tell you what, that was some good, hard racing there, and it's not over yet. Wilson now crossing him back over to the inside, just past halfway here. Oh, Wilson a little squirrely getting into turn 3 there. Had to set that car up so he wouldn't get into the 777 of Leverstein. Now back to the 2nd position goes Wilson. Fox retains that 3rd spot as Leverstein still has the race lead. Oh, Leverstein blocks the high line. Looked like Wilson had a little bit of a chance there to get around him. But now Wilson's going to throw it in as hard as he possibly can, try not to wreck both of them. As now Wilson, he's looking to take the race lead. He's going to lead this lap here at the line. The 80 car, new leader here at Knoxville. Leverstein checks up, crosses him back over to the inside. But here comes Fox to the inside of that 777 car, the 999, looking to take over that 2nd spot.
And Fox will be able to do it as he'll shove Leverstein out of the way, move Fox up to that 2nd spot. And I'll tell you what, that 999 really has the card to go up there and try to battle for the lead here with Dylan Wilson. And how about, I saw some of the comments scrolling by. Our fans loved that battle for the lead. That is called racing, folks. And how about Leverstein and Wilson putting on a battle really clean, really hard. And as Wilson takes the lead, the caution flag is going to come out.
No. Looking for the culprit here. Looks like the 19 turned around in turn number 2. Kind of odd there. It looks like he might have, he was having some internet issues. A couple of drivers having some internet issues, and then he doesn't pop back onto my screen until he's already flipping. Weaver involved, Blake Brown involved as well. Let's see, Weaver was almost up to the 15th position, back to 18th now on the scoring pylon. Just hit lap 40 as well, and a new race leader for this event. I mean, you can't ask for much better than that. A 30 some odd plus lap green flag run here at the Knoxville Raceway.
Yeah, it was. It was just a really, really clean battle. It looks like Howard Weaver got into that as well. We're on lap 43 with 17 laps to go. And Dylan Wilson looking to solidify and put an exclamation point on the season. He can take down a win in the final event of the year and lock up the points championship here at Team VLR in the UMP Modifieds. Update there on Howard Weaver, sitting back in 16th right now, so a little bit further back in traffic than I'm sure he would like it. Has quite a ways to go and is going to need a little bit of luck and maybe a prayer to the racing gods out there to hope that Leverstein or Fox can get into Wilson. But Wilson up here racing hard, racing clean. Hopefully we see some more great action up here as the laps wind down on the season.
Well, here we go. Lap 43 is what we're going to restart on. 17 laps remaining in the UMP Modified season. Green flag is out. Dylan Wilson down and away. Tucks in front of Dylan Fox as they head into turn number 1. Oh, Virgil Graham's around on the high side just about. He checks up the whole outside. Oh, the 10 goes around in turn number 2. Caution comes out.
Yeah, it looks like Graham getting off the cushion as he was stuck on the outside line, just try to get back in the groove. And there's the 10 car of Jason Minette just sitting there in the middle. Got into Chowning as well. Chowning makes contact with Weaver. Weaver and Cody Olson, it looks like, able to squeeze on by. But Virgil Graham putting a little bit of action here, and he'll bounce it off the wall and bring out our 3rd caution flag of the evening.
I tell you what, he had a good old punt from that 28 car getting into that first turn, so not entirely too sure there, but 28 had about a McAfee leg there. But Graham does end up turning that 10 car.
Could we say that Trevor Fitz had a fit right there?
No, I just said he has a pretty strong leg.
If only I had a drum set.
I can't do it. But yeah, Wilson's still out front. Fox, Tucker, Leverstein, and Graham now your top 5. As they're still side by side for some reason. I don't think we're going green quite yet, so they're going to have to hold their horses. I believe that is the 3rd caution on the evening, so one more, and then they will go back to single file restarts, I believe. I know that's how they do it in the sprint car series. Not sure if that's going to how they do it. How they're going to do it tonight.
Yeah, and I don't think that lap is going to count either, as I think it's going to be lap 43 is what we're going to roll up on here. And caution flag's not counting at this portion of the race, and so I think we're going to act as if that lap didn't count towards our 60 lap total, as I think they may be taking the green flag this time. Dylan Wilson has the field, but again, that pace truck's still riding up there, so a little bit of an extension on this one. I think they're trying to sort out maybe who caused that, who they're going to send to the back of the field, and making sure everybody is lined up right. As yeah, it looks like they're giving around some in the longest line penalties right there to Trevor Fitz after that caution right there, so that's going to put Fitz to the back of the field. I'm sure that's what we were waiting on, and we'll get going green here shortly as Dylan Wilson will control the field. Howard Weaver will sit back in 16th on this restart.
All right, well, going into 3 and 4 here. Wilson has command of the race lead and the field. Pace truck going to make that left-hand turn down to the safety of the pit lane. Down and away goes Wilson. Green flag back out here at the Knoxville Raceway. Still 17 laps to run. Here we're on lap 43 as we almost see Carter pretty much mimic that 42 car back there. He almost hopped the cushion as well. You can see both on entry and exit how bad the bumps are starting to get as the track progressively gets more tore up. And Kendall Tucker out beside Dylan Foxford at second position, still on the bottom of that racetrack. You can see where they ran that bottom side for so long, they kicked so much dirt into the middle of the groove. So that's helping out these drivers who are wanting to still maintain that bottom lane as we are coming to lap 45.
Yeah, we are, and the battle is on for that second spot. Fox, though, looks like turns 1 and 2 just getting a lot of momentum on that top side. Right behind him, though, Leverstein will tap the outside wall. Pena trying to make up some ground on the bottom as Pena will slide up, give Leverstein some room, but looks like he's able to make it. Now Virgil Graham takes advantage as well as he'll move up into the 6th spot. And how about Leo Pena? Guy we haven't seen run out here too often. I'm familiar with watching some of his races. We know he can wheel a race car, and he's sitting up here in the 4th spot.
Yes, it's almost like 3 and 4. The cushion is not existent as Leverstein is now battling back to the inside of that 42. But you can see it here in 1 and 2 if you watch that 42 car, just how much momentum he gets as the 777 gets into the 16. Both drivers able to keep it pointed in the right direction. But you can see Graham gets such a good run off the top side in 1 and 2. It's just it's a little bit like he's got a half canister of NOS in there, and he hits it right as he gets into the center of the turn there. Just shoots him off like a rocket ship.
Yes, he does indeed. Battle up front, not a whole lot of battling up there as Wilson will continue to maintain that lead. Virgil Graham, though, will move, or he'll hold down that 4th spot. Pena's still trying to get that middle groove, and you can see that middle groove doesn't have the slickness in 1 and 2 that the top and the bottom have. It's like there's a little parting of the Red Sea there in turns 1 and 2 where you can find some grip there in the middle. Pena will hold down 5th. Now Leverstein under attack from the 007 of Jacob Fields for the 6th spot.
Yeah, but we got to talk about this 07 as a wreck is happening behind him. Chowning is around the 47, brings out the caution after Randall Carter gets into the outside retaining wall. We'll take a look back at this. Carter just got passed by the 07 of Weaver for that 8th position. So Weaver on a tear right now, and it just looks like the 37 hopped the cushion out there, got into the outside retaining wall, slowed up, almost got Drew Phillips involved. Actually, he did get a little piece of it, but Capron and Chowning ended up meeting at the same time. Chowning goes around in the bottom lane, and caution flies once again here at the Knoxville Raceway.
Yeah, it looked like just a lot of battling there right up towards the cushion and just not enough room to accommodate that many race cars will bring out the caution flag once again. Got to think, though, you look out front, that 80 machine looks clean and is really in control of this thing. 11 laps to go. And really with the luxury of having that restart, it's going to really change things up. And now we're getting word we're going to change it to a single file restart as well, so you got to think that may help Wilson a little bit more, a little bit less. If Fox can get a really good jump, he'll have a shot going into 1, but that's going to make it probably a lot tougher for Howard Weaver to make up spots if they're all single file right off the start. So Dylan Wilson just has to kind of run it clean and get a good restart here and take care of it and bring it home. You have to remember that he can finish basically anywhere in the top 5 and just about lock up this championship. Weaver's got to work his way all the way up to the top spot and needs some misfortune for that 80 car.
I want to bring a little bit of attention to another issue that when I was going back through the field, I saw there are 2 drivers that are not too happy with each other. The 26 of Adam Bush ended up spinning the 6 car of Cody Olson. I'm not sure if that was just a form of miscommunication between the two drivers or what happened, but that happened under caution. So we're going to see what the admins do about that. Lights off the pace truck. He's off the racing surface. Dylan Wilson down and away. Once again, lap 49, 11 laps left to run here as Kendall Tucker looking to take that second spot off the restart, but Dylan Fox is going to maintain that second spot in that 999 car. The 00 goes back to that third spot as we are pretty much single file throughout the majority of the field, and Howard Weaver throwing a slider on that 007 of Jacob Fields for that 7th position. Going to take it over if he can keep that high lane rolling here, and he does. He's now back behind Leverstein.
He is back behind Leverstein, and I'll tell you what, that 07 really racing here. You can see the front end of that race car is not even there, and he's still racing really hard, running up for spots, up in 7th, and now trying to challenge for that 777 for the 6th spot of Leverstein. Gets into the outside wall, just trying to do all he can to try to make up as many spots as possible, but it looks like the time is slowly ticking away for him to make up those points.
Yeah, it sure is. We're under 10 laps to run here, and there he goes. He's going to put a slider on Leverstein. The 07 putting a show on for the fans as he's to the outside of that 6th place car. Now he goes to the high side, N3, N4, riding the cushion as best as he possibly can. He's going to get a lot of momentum coming off the top side here, and he's going to complete that pass as they head into turn number 1. But Wilson is not out of the dark yet. He's still in that top position. Dylan Fox chasing him down as well, and Weaver just about around Pena here, and he's going to try and get a 2-for-1 as a caution comes out behind him. Looking for it. Cody Olson went around. Kind of blinked a little bit. And, he flipped a lot. He ended up, geez, that started way back in turn 2. Heileman gets into the wall. Olson gets into Heileman, pushes Heileman up the racetrack. The 6 car then darts back out to the outside retaining wall and goes tumbling. So now we have 7 laps to go in this race. And Weaver is up to the 5th position. Just imagine how different this race would have been if he could have actually started on the pole.
Well, absolutely. It might be a lot different. We still have to remember Dylan Wilson is doing his job as well. Weaver trying to race his way back, may even be able to go up and get a top 3, may even contend to win this thing if he can get a few more restarts. But there's 2 parts to this, as Weaver has to go up and run really well, and Dylan Wilson has to fall on some misfortune. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, or maybe if Weaver has something to say about that. But you can't say enough about this 07 machine. Started 2 laps down behind the field, something that really wasn't his fault. He had no control over, but he's still up here and able to make up for that, and obviously working his way through the field to try to get back up there. Kind of reminds me of Kendall Tucker, who, he's sitting up here in the 4th spot, but he started in 15th and has really done it by passing a lot of cars. So Weaver doing a good job trying to maneuver and get as many spots back as he can.
Yeah, I tell you, there's a couple of guys out there who are eligible for that Burberry Designs Hard Charger Award, but the green flag flies once again here at the Knoxville Raceway. 7 laps left to run. Dylan Wilson gets a good jump on the rest of the field, leads the brigade out of turn number 2. Kendall Tucker stuck on the bottom side. Here goes Weaver around the outside of that 00 car. The 07 now up into position number 4. Virgil Graham running through the middle. He's just about got caught by that 07 as Weaver's going to throw a slider on the 42. Graham's going to cross him over, go back to the inside of Weaver, but to no avail. He's going to actually hit the wall on the backstretch, so Weaver now up into position number 3. Now the question is, what's going to happen from here? We have 5 laps to go.
5 to go, and I'll tell you what, all that speed in this racetrack is right up on the top of this cushion. That's exactly where Howard Weaver has been making up all of his ground, and I'm telling you what, he's the fastest car on the racetrack right now by far, as he's just able to get off that cushion so well. Oh, and I guess I jinxed him right there, gets into the wall out of 4, but still going really hard, and he has Dylan Fox battling up there with Dylan Wilson, putting a little bit of pressure on him with 4 laps to go. So, you know, something could happen here, and Weaver's just got to run, dig, and just hope for something up there to get Wilson out of shape.
3 laps left to run in the UMP Modified Series season. Wilson still out front. Fox has closed the gap in. Only about a car length separate our top 2 competitors. Howard Weaver's just about a second off the pace of Dylan Wilson right now, coming to 2 laps to go. Wilson still has that race lead. Will he take his 5th checkered flag on the season? It looks like Fox has something to say about it. He's got some speed in that car. What is he going to do here coming to the white flag lap?
We'll see what he's going to do. He has really 2 corners to make it.
Weaver!
See if he can throw a slider or something.
Weaver got into the outside retaining wall there. Virgil Graham gets back around him. But the battle still for that race lead. Dylan Wilson, 1 more corner to win and take home the 2018 championship out of turn number 4. Dylan Wilson is your 2018 champion.
And a winner chicken dinner for that 80 machine of Dylan Wilson. Did it the right way, race hard, race clean with Jacob Leverstein and the rest of the gang up here at the top. And really no more fitting way to go out than to take the win and the championship in the same race. Come out here in dominating fashion, start up front, and finish there as well. So can't really do anything about the misfortune for the 07. We can wonder what might have been, but Dylan Wilson came out here and did his job, won the race, and is a very deserving champion of the TeamVLR.com UMP Modified Series.
Dylan Fox, Virgil Graham, Kendall Tucker, and Leo Pinion, your top 5. Howard Weaver, Jacob Leverstein, Jacob Fields, Randall Carter, and Jeremy Capron, your top 10. You had David Heileman, Jason Minack, Cole Falloway, Kyle Miller, Lucas Chowning, Adam Bush, Dalton Connor, Eric Huff, Benjamin Nading, and Trevor Fitz, your top 20. Cody Olson, Drew Phillips, Dave Hartman, Blake Brown, Garrett Nabergi, and Ryan Gaunt round out our 26-car field. And I mean, just an incredible race there. A lot of green flag running. It's got a sting for that 07 car. He might have had a shot tonight, but we'll never know if he had the car to beat or, you know, what happened. It just seems like Dylan Wilson, our champion, it was just destined for him here tonight. We're going to go ahead and bring in our 3rd place finisher, the 42 of Virgil Graham. You got a copy there, bud?
I do.
Well, congratulations on that podium finish right there. Benefited from the misfortune of Weaver, who was just a rocket ship out there. Got into the wall right in front of you. Tell me what went through your mind once you saw that 07 get into the wall.
Well, I mean, just prior to that, he actually got into me a little bit, so I didn't really mind it. Howard and I raced pretty good together, but you know, he's trying to go for a championship, so I understand. But when he went by, we had a little contact, so I wasn't too let down to see him smack the wall, as long as it didn't end up catching me, and it almost did. So, you know, I think it was a good race between, you know, he came from the back, so that was fun to watch, I'm sure, for the viewers, and you know, Dylan Wilson and him had it out for the whole series. They were kind of back and forth, so it was fun. I'm sitting there in 3rd, and I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely a 3rd place championship finish as well. So you kind of round out the night pretty squarely there. But you know, y'all had a great battle going back there. You know, between 4th through 9th there. You started in 10th tonight and raced your way up to that 3rd position after battling through that pack. I mean, that long green flag run. You know, tell us how it was from the driver's seat of that 42 machine.
Yeah, so I found something just kind of rolling right through the middle of 3 and 4. Kind of going in a little bit higher in 1 and then just rolling through the middle of 3 and 4. There was just a slight patch of grip, and it was just, I was kind of being held up there for a bit. Going was able to get by and get up to fourth, but then the top three were just way out there. So I knew I really didn't have a chance of catching them without a caution. So when that first caution came out, I was actually, kind of blessed with that. But then the very next restart, the guys behind, being impatient, spun me out, and I have to restart in sixth or something like that. So I had to, drive back up to third. But, the car was good. The track was good. It kind of lends to my style. And I really like these mods. I think these mods are the best car in the game. They take a different level of throttle control, and it's just so important keeping the tires stuck to the track and really just finding the grip. And that's what's fun.
All right, well, awesome. Glad you had a great time. We've had a good time watching you all season long as well. From your win there earlier on in the series to another top 3 finish, your 5th one on the season. So congratulations to you on a great season. You got anybody you want to thank and shout out before we let you go for the final time in the UMP Modified Series?
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you guys for up in the booth. Thanks for VLR for putting this stuff on. Hockett Designs will be making my next mod wrap, so I'm pretty excited about that. Jeremy Ray for the late model skin, and I'll tell you, it's been a long season, and I'm burnt out. I'm ready to be done. So, good season, good year, and it was fun. Thanks to all you guys, and the fans out there too.
All right, bud. Well, that's our 3rd place finisher in the 42 machine of Virgil Graham. We're gonna go ahead and jump on to our 2nd place finisher, and he's standing by with Blake.
He is Dylan Fox. This is Blake McCandless. You got a copy?
Yep, how you guys doing?
I'm doing fine there, Dylan. And how about that run for that 999 machine? Started in 7th and just slowly but surely worked your way up the field. Almost got to victory lane, but came up just short. But how about that run that you guys had?
Yeah, my main thing was there for probably the first 40 laps. I was just keeping my patience, keeping it behind everybody, waiting for them to make their mistakes, and then I'll make my moves depending on what they do, really.
Yeah, we saw you run well in the heats earlier on, and honestly, we were kind of surprised there. Kind of explain to some of our viewers out there how this track changed. We saw, especially in the heats, you wanted to run the middle or the top side, but really up until the very end there, it seemed like the whole track was kind of wide open, and you could go wherever you wanted to go.
Yeah, for the most part, it's where you felt comfortable at keeping your car straight through the bottom. And 1 and 2 was mostly the fast lane all race until about the last 30 laps, and then in 3 and 4 that middle was fast, and then suddenly with the last 10 laps to go or so, the cushion came in.
Yeah, we saw that up there. That cushion did come into play the last 10 laps, but Dylan, I'll give you the mic one last time here in the UMP Modified Series. Go ahead and thank whoever got you to the 2nd place finish.
I'd like to thank my teammates at Elite 7 Racing, Water Truck Productions, Twitch.tv/Fank, and VLR for running the league. Also, I'd like to congratulate Wilson on the championship.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's your 2nd place finisher on the night at the Knoxville Raceway, Dylan Fox. And now I'm going to throw it down to Gress one final time. The guy who is probably happier than anybody else tonight, that's the number 80 of Dylan Wilson, your 2018 UMP Modifieds champion for Team VLR.
I'm going to dial him up right now. Race winner and 2018 Accelerated UMP Modified Series presented by WR1 Sim Chassis champion Dylan Wilson. How does that sound, bud?
Sounds good. Honestly, haven't thought about it all year until like maybe 10 laps ago in that race. But it was just unfortunate that Howard lost the connection right there, because I know me and him, I wasn't gonna points race per se. You know what I mean? I was gonna run hard and try to win the race. And however it worked out. It really sucks that Howard got lost connection there, because I had a feeling we were going to put on a really good show, and it would have been exciting all the way down to the last lap. But after Jacob, in that race with Jacob, I had to try everything I could to get around him. And then when that cushion finally came in, it seemed like our car was good, and Fox was right there the whole race. I don't know if he was going as hard as he could have, or what was going on, but it seemed like he'd get to about 3/10 and we would stay right there the rest of the time. So I don't know. It just worked out. It's like I said, it still sucks though that Howard had that problem because I was really looking forward to racing with him.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that front row was definitely jacked up. Not in a bad sense, but in a good way. I mean, you know, both championship contenders starting on the front row. Unfortunately for Howard, he did have that problem there. But still, I mean, it wasn't exactly easy for you out there. You know, like you said, you had Leverstein and Fox out there giving you troubles pretty much all race long. But once you took that race lead, you just never looked back.
Yeah, I was trying to be easy. I didn't want to get in the wall and end up wrecking myself and ruining anybody else's race. So when you're out in the lead, you know, you tend to not get up on the cushion as hard or try to get in there as hard. So I was just trying to be conservative a little bit, and maybe that's why I wasn't able to like pull away or they were able to stay so close. But as you lead these races, you don't want to make a mistake to take yourself out of it. You want to make the driver behind you, you know, earn that pass.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But you definitely were throwing down out there. It was a fun race to watch. It's been incredible watching you all season. I mean, 5 wins on the season in total. Just an incredible performance out of that 80 car. And in the end, you win the championship, which, you know, it isn't an easy feat in itself, but you definitely made it look the easiest out there this year.
Yeah, it was a wild year. We had a couple races where we had some really bad luck. We lost connection in a race too, so I know how Howard feels. I think we were running second to him that race, and we were probably gonna put it on another show in that one, and it was just me and him racing together is just not meant to be apparently. But it's been a long year. It's been a fun one. I'm ready to go, you know, have a life outside of this game on my days off. So I'm happy the year is over. But I got to thank all the guys at D1RT. Rocket, Clay, Kyle, Trevor, everybody that's been helping on setups all year, man. We got these things dialed in this year, especially at the mid part of the year. We were solid. Thank you, Howard. He made the skin for me. We've revised it like 400 times already, and we'll probably revise it again. But thanks to him, and thanks to VLR and you guys for the broadcast and everybody watching all year. It's been fun.
All right. Well, I guess there's nothing else to say, but congratulations to you, the 80 car, and your team. Dylan Wilson, your 2018 Accelerated UMP Modified Series champion.
User left your channel.
And, I mean, we got like a crap ton of people waiting for interviews in here, but I guess we might as well go ahead and interview the runner-up, the 07 Howard Weaver. I mean, what happened at the beginning there, bud?
I have no clue. It's never happened before. It just my Oculus like blocked up, and then iRacing crashed, and that's kind of just my luck lately. So I don't know what happened.
Well, I mean, it's not like you didn't try to go down swinging. I mean, you made it all the way from the absolute back of the pack in 26 up to the 3rd spot at one point, but then you ended up throwing her into the wall, and you know, still came home in a pretty admirable 6th position tonight. But you know, just short on the championship this season. I mean, it would have definitely been a good time to see you and Wilson there battle it out for the end.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping, because I know me and Dylan would have put on a good show from the start of the race. But it was fun trying to get back up through there. But yeah. Dylan was going to win the championship either way, unless he just got flat taken out. So congratulations to him, and it was more fun. Well, I don't know if it was more fun. From what I heard, it was a pretty fun looking race up in the front. But it was a lot of fun trying to get through there. But you know, I don't know, the people in the comments saying that I shouldn't have got a wave or whatever. But they've all season long, if someone gets disconnected right before the green, then they always give them a wave. They gave waves tonight to people who got lapped under caution whenever they let the leaders get going instead of pulling out in front of them. So, yeah, I don't understand the controversy there, but I still had to come from 26th, so it wasn't easy.
Well, a runner-up finish nonetheless in the championship. You know, still congratulations on a great season once again. You got anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go and wrap this thing up?
Yeah, just first, congratulations to Dylan Wilson. I always love racing with him. Like I said, I know he would have liked for us to have been able to start on the front row and, battle it out straight up like that. But, yeah, it wasn't meant to be there. But, yeah, congratulations to him and Dylan Fox. They were putting on a good show at the end, and I was trying to get in there and kind of overdrove it, and cars started pushing. But, I was going down, swinging, I guess. But, yeah, I'd like to thank X.CELERATED for sponsoring the series in my car, and Team Friday for sponsoring me, Team VLR, Tennessee Punch, and all the fans that have been watching. It was a really exciting season, and it ended, with a pretty good finale, I think. So, and thank you guys at OCTV for covering it all.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing us on board to do so. But we're not done yet. But still, congratulations goes to you. We'll be talking to you maybe Sunday night. But let's see, Blake. You got anything you want to throw in for the wrap up here of the 2018 UMP Modified Series?
Well, I think what you want to do is your last race, probably put on your best race. And honestly, I think you did that tonight. You had a little bit of drama with the points championship, even though Dylan Wilson kind of had it in hand from the very beginning. But again, we saw battles all over this racetrack, a relatively low number of caution flags. So just a really good job to wrap up what was a great season here for Team VLR, the UMP Modifieds. And hopefully we'll be back the next time they come out, and we can put on another great show for all these fans that tune in every week.
And basically, that's just about the gist of what I was going to say. I mean, it's been an incredible season. I know Blake came in just past the halfway point and all that, but it's been a pleasure being in the booth with you. Got to thank Dylan Ackert for running the cameras all season long. And got to thank you, the fans, most importantly, for coming out week in and week out for these UMP Modifieds on Wednesday nights. Hopefully we're back next season for a series or two. But, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better night for Dylan Wilson to take home the checkered flag and the championship. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to all of the drivers who came out and put forth their best effort throughout the entire season as well. And for the final time in the 2018 season, we got to thank our sponsors here. X.CELERATED for the title sponsor, WR1 Sim Chassis. Dylan Wilson is going to be getting a very nice rig from those guys over there. We got to thank Team Friday Chassis Consultants. The Burberry Designs Hard Charger Award went to Jeremy Capron tonight. He advanced 15 positions on the field. And you got to thank the Kenny Wallace Dirt Racing Experience as well. And a couple of our affiliates here, STLRacing.com, Capron Screen Printing, World of Dirt, the Dirt Racing Connection, RacingJunk.com Classifieds, and the Magnolia Motor Speedway. So for the final time for the UMP Modified Series here in 2018, we are OCTV, and we will see y'all Sunday night for the finale of the Sprint Cars. See y'all, take care, and we'll see y'all then.